This episode of Film Rides brought to you by Domain.com. Welcome to Film Riot Mondays. I'm wearing the beanie again. It's my thinking beanie. There's only less than 2 weeks. It's like a week and 5 days until the Monday challenges are due. The music video Monday challenge. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you still got time. You got a week and 5 days. Go watch 2 episodes ago. We announced music video challenge. We're doing it with the Music Bed, who are awesome towns. They're good peoples. We got over $1,000 for the grand prize winner, $1,000 worth of music licensingness from the Music Bed, and then $200 and $100 for the other winners. It is good stuff. Go watch that and get involved if you're not. If you are, don't forget, week and 5 days left. So get cracking, peoples. That's all. That was my update. What'd you think?
I think it's a week and 4 days.
Is it a week and 4 days?
Yeah. So, you're stupid.
Crap. I think you're right. Question. Is it legal to show something about another film in your film, like a poster on a wall or a character watching a movie? Is it cool, or is there any copyright kind of thing or price to pay? Anytime you show anyone else's work within your work, you are going to have issue. If you use somebody else's song, if you show somebody else's artwork, somebody else's film, even a little bit, even for like 5 seconds, you could have issues. Now, more than likely you won't. If you're just putting up a short, that will just be seen by a handful of people, and by handful of people I mean even our shorts, 100,000 people. Odds are you might not have any issues. I mean, people have to see it to take issue. And if you're not making money off of it, that also might keep issues from. But technically, you're not supposed to do it. So you could come into issue. It's always better to just not. Unless you get permission from the artist in question, just don't do it. Just because you never know what could go viral. You could put up a short thinking nobody's going to watch it, and then poof, 1 million views. Are storyboards a necessary process? What if we suck ass at drawing? It is not a necessity, but it is absolutely helpful. I didn't do storyboards or even shot lists for the most part for proximity, like I've told you guys before. It depends on what you're comfortable with. Some directors, like Ridley Scott, won't storyboard till he's on set, and then he just basically does stick figures. It doesn't have to be this elaborate, unbelievable drawing for you to show people, and then it just looks like they're looking at a comic book. It could be stick figures. The whole point of a storyboard is just to remind yourself of the framing you were thinking, of the visual context you might have been thinking, and that you could show somebody like, hey, this. Hey, look, it's a close-up, and it's a freaking stick figure. There's also programs you can get like FrameForge and a ton of them. There's even some for the iPad that you just move virtual characters around to get the sort of thing you want. So it's not a necessity, but it also doesn't have to be great drawing, and it also doesn't have to be drawing at all. You can use software. You have options is what I'm trying to say. Where can I get some cool fighting sound effects? Funny that you ask, actually. I'm not happy with any of the fight sounds that I personally have. So just like we did with the gun sound effects pack, we decided to freaking F it and make it ourselves. So we had Rob come out about a week or so ago, and we recorded all the sounds we needed for Rob to put together the sound effects pack, and then we will offer that for sale as well, just like we did the gun sound effects pack, and we are going to keep it as cheap as possible. Also, I'm doing it selfishly because, like I said, I'm really unhappy with all this gun or fighting sound effects that I have. So I want it for me, but also we get to offer it to you guys for as cheap as possible, and once again, try to bring Hollywood level products, sounds, assets to you guys without the Hollywood level prices. Hey Ryan, opinions on Technicolor for Canon DSLRs? I'm debating about installing it. I think you're talking about Citastyle from Technicolor, and I use it all the time. I'm using it right now, actually. We did a whole episode on it right here, which you can go watch. You can watch it with your eyes.
Your eyes.
Your eyes.
She can watch it.
Your eyes.
With her eyes.
I dig it. I like it. I dig it. I like it. And I dig it. And I like it. And I dig it.
Do you dig it though?
I like it. Any advice on directing children's? Directing children can be really tough, and if you don't have the patience, or if you haven't been around children much, then it's going to be even harder for you. I have a massive family, and on top of that, I've been around a lot of kids throughout my life. Seems like there's always toddlers, between toddler to like 12, always. nephew, niece, children of other friends. So I'm very used to kids and I'm very used to dealing with them, and I was able to figure them out, so it was a little bit easier for me. I think the trick is not necessarily to don't talk down to them. You talk to them as if they're kids, but you don't talk to them as if they're stupid. I mean, they understand more than you give them credit for. Other thing that's really great about kids is you could purely mold them to do whatever you want them to do. Most actors want to make this thing their own, where kids, if you create an atmosphere where they completely trust you and they're having a lot of fun and they feel comfortable, you can just give them line reads for every single line. And it's also fun to play around with them to get the performance that you want. The main thing is just to get them to trust you, comfortable with you, and comfortable in front of the camera. Because they're kids, they can go into their shell of shyness very quickly, and that's one of the biggest pitfalls of working with children. Last question: what is the best advice you can give for a young filmmaker who has no crew to film with? I did that for most of my career. For the first year of Film Riot, it was exactly that. I just didn't have a crew. The stand-ups for like the first 6 months of Film Riot was me alone in a room in front of a green screen. I would walk over, hit record on the camera, and then walk in front of the camera and do my hosting. I had no crew. In fact, there was one sketch that we did. It was I think it was Emily's first sketch where she came in as that character where me and Emily go around terrorize the city. For half of that sketch, it was me, a 13-year-old running the camera for me, and then a 10-year-old running boom. That was my sister and my nephew, and then me and Emily in it. And that was half that sketch, because everybody else, I think you guys went to a concert or something. I can't remember what it was, but I had no crew. And most of Film Riot up until the last year, 2 years maybe, of the 5 years, of the first 2 to 3 years, I was the only one ever behind the camera. I just had people in front of the camera. So you could absolutely do it. There's no excuse to not make something. Even if you don't have actors, you can go out and just capture life on the street and then get a piece of music and put some kind of story to it. There is never an excuse. If you're passionate, you want to make filmmaking, there is absolutely no excuse whatsoever not to get out there and start practicing right now. Get a body of work, show what you're capable of, do that, go around town and get some awesome looking stuff, make it look like a movie, show your friends, and they're gonna wanna do something with you. But you gotta start somewhere. Whatever you have at your disposal right now, use it, make something. So get this, I fall into the ocean. I can't swim, start to sink, not shrink, because I was probably shrinking too because it was water, I was contracting. But the point is, all of a sudden, what happens? Jaws, massive shark-ular thing, eats me, whole, one, I'm in its stomach.
Ryan.
Way more roomy than you would think.
Ryan.
You know what comes to my head?
No.
Why I'm sitting there getting digested by a great white, which was
So a shark
really long.
didn't chew on anything, he swallowed you.
No, swallowed me, that's how, it was really big. But I'm sitting there getting digested, and I think, I never made that website. That website that I wanted to make, I never made it. I could have gone to domain.com and used their hosting plan, their domain discovery service to help me pick the one that's right for me.
But now you're here.
And their hosting plan is affordable and reliable.
But you're here.
And I could have used the coupon code FilmRiot to get 15% off, and I never did it. And I'm sitting there getting digested. But guess what I found out? Pulled my phone out. You're never going to believe this.
You didn't have service.
Wi-Fi.
No.
The shark had Wi-Fi.
No, he didn't.
Yeah. It was Bruce. That was the name of it. And then I assumed that the password was like Jaws. So I typed it in, boom, it was. Went and set up my website. It was easy peasy with domain.com inside of a shark's belly with shark Wi-Fi. So when you think domain names and sharks, think domain.com.
None of that was true.
All of it.
None of it.
All of it.
Absolutely zero.
It was based on a true story.
No, it wasn't.
I could have been. You don't know.
No.
I was in Australia.
You're a liar.
I don't know.
And now we know it.
Maybe, maybe not.
Logo.
So that's it for today, which means it's time for my short film suggestion of the week. This one is called Bear. It's from Nash Edgerton, which I think this is like the third short film that I've suggested from him. He directed, co-wrote, and starred in the film, and he really looks like his brother Joel Edgerton, who Josh didn't know was related to Nash Edgerton.
I wasn't gonna say that.
Yeah, but now they know, which I don't know how you can't figure that out. He looks exactly like him.
I haven't seen it.
They look so much. You've seen his other stuff.
Was that him in it?
Yes.
Oh. I mean, I'm not that. No.
Those weren't words.
at him.
It's a great short film, which you can find right here. It is awesome as all his other stuff. Dark comedy, like some of the other stuff
A lot
he
of
has
people
done.
have the same last name.
Edgerton? What have you ever heard this?
Eat that doo-doo.
Check out the short film right here, and I'll see you guys next time.